What Ryan Reynolds forced his daughter to do on Deadpool is one of the most abhorrent things I have ever heard of.
Original line Ryan Reynolds wanted his 7-year-old daughter to say in Deadpool, you know, that had all this is the scene with a lot of Deadpools, in which one of them in fact was like a parody of Justin Baldoni, by the way. There was this child Deadpool that had this line is when I want your opinion, I will take my cucumber out of your mouth.
Believe me if I told you that according to this Deadpool script, the disgusting lines Kidpool said that's going viral was actually the best option available. And I know you're wondering, Elsie, what the fuck does that even mean? It's either Kidpool says,
"Hey, when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth."
Or she says, "Hey, when we want your opinion, I'll take my panini out of your mouth."
You have to understand that the actor, the girl acting, is Ryan Reynolds' daughter.
Ryan Reynolds is known for his humor, sarcasm, and playful personality, but this time he's facing backlash for something that goes far beyond his usual jokes. The controversy erupted when it was revealed that his 7-year-old daughter, Inz, was involved in recording a line for his latest film, Deadpool and Wolverine. But this wasn't just any line, it was an explicit joke that left many questioning his judgment as a parent. Reynolds casually admitted that Inz was hesitant to say it at first, but instead of respecting her reluctance, he jokingly suggested she would be replaced, pushing her to comply.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds and Shawn Levy break down Deadpool corpse battle. They are so comfortable with this abuse, and they know they won't be held accountable. They know Disney will not hold them accountable for anything, and they actually find it funny. It's laughable to do this to a little 7-year-old girl.
Both are mothers and honor our homeland.
And that he would have low bone density.
Deadpool Prime here.
Poor guy.
Our fight isn't with
Hey,
you.
when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth.
That's kid.
Guiltily, that is my daughter,
I'm
Inez.
so sorry we have to admit that.
And I am Father of the Year over here for allowing her to say such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say. And then came back later and said, I want to say it now, when I started looking at other people to play
Yeah,
it.
but Ryan, to our discredit, we made Nezzy do, I'm not shitting you, 70 to 500 versions of that line.
Yeah, I'm going to pay for that later.
Blake Lively there as Lady Pool, Lady
Matthew
Deadpool.
McConaughey as Cowboy Pool.
McConaughey showing up like a champ for us.
What a dreamboat that guy is. What a movie star in the most classic and amazing way.
Nathan Fillion.
It's crazy. I didn't realize Matthew McConaughey was involved in this.
Now, both fans and critics are speaking out against Reynolds for involving a child in material considered inappropriate by many. While some brush it off as just another edgy joke in line with his usual style, others see it as a reflection of a deeper, more troubling issue, one that Hollywood has overlooked for far too long. The backlash continues to grow, with a rising chorus of voices questioning, where should the line be drawn when it comes to children's involvement in entertainment? Would you like this developed into a full article or kept as a brief statement?
The recent developments, not only from the Justin Baldoni lawsuit, but those things that are being unearthed precisely on that script from Deadpool and Wolverine are, well, nothing short of disturbing. I'm going to just jump right into the details, and we have this.
Inez is a girl. Inez is 7 years old. Inez is a child. Inez is your child. Why would you write a line that says your child will take her panini out of your mouth? She doesn't even have a panini, number one. Number two, that's a child, your child, and you coached her to say this? And then you were like,
Yeah, you wonder what is going on in that house, how they treat each other, how they talk to each other, and don't they, oh, maybe they are so happy, this is all for a show. No. I know my stuff. When you see people pushing for this kind of stuff on screen, it's like to see how much they can get away with. And believe me, there's a lot more to talk about.
Controversy erupts over Deadpool and Wolverine's behind-the-scenes revelation. The controversy began when Deadpool and Wolverine director Shawn Levy shared behind-the-scenes details about the film. During the discussion, Ryan Reynolds made a surprising revelation. His 7-year-old daughter, Inez, had voiced a masked character in the movie. While the idea of a child actor contributing to the film might not have been an issue on its own, the real controversy stemmed from the line she was asked to deliver. In one of the movie's more explicit scenes, the masked character utters a crude insult. "Hey, when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth." The inclusion of such mature content performed by a young child has sparked debate among fans and critics alike. This version keeps the key details while improving flow, clarity, and professionalism. Let me know if you'd like any further refinements.
I show you this, I don't think there will be any doubt in your mind that he is a predator, a bully, a narcissist, a psychopath, and everything else that you can think of, because it is that gross. She was 7 years old at the time. Now, I'll show you, this is one thing he said about her. "Only co-star I argued with. Most people think Kid Pool is the dirtiest." Who thinks that your daughter, your 7-year-old daughter, is the dirtiest out of the Deadpool movie, out of all the homophobic, disgusting, in my opinion, sexually predatory lines, filming, everything about this movie is disgusting, especially when you peel back the layers and see what they were doing behind the scenes. And if you actually dissect the lines, they are catastrophically gross. But who thinks that your daughter is the dirtiest? Your daughter Inez. Why would you put that out there about your child? She's also pretty good at back talk and never taking out the trash. So just like he does with Blake Lively, he's always denigrating his wife. He's always praising another man, especially Hugh Jackman, who he seems to have a deep love and fondness and intimacy with, which in the Deadpool movie is constant gay jokes, constant jokes about essentially raping Wolverine and violating him. It is just nonstop, because Deadpool is supposed to be pansexual. So he's attracted, in their words, to anything that moves. This is what it said about Deadpool. Anything.
Outrage erupts after Ryan Reynolds reveals daughter's explicit line in Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, a child was made to say that. The moment this detail surfaced, social media exploded with fury. Fans and critics alike were stunned that Reynolds, a father of 4, would allow his 7-year-old daughter, Inez, to participate in something so blatantly inappropriate. The backlash was swift, with many condemning his judgment not just as an actor, but as a parent. Making matters worse, Reynolds admitted that Inez had initially refused to say the vulgar line. Rather than respecting her discomfort, he jokingly threatened to replace her, pressuring her into compliance. To many, this crossed a serious boundary. A child's no should have been the end of it. Instead, she was reportedly made to repeat the crude insult dozens of times, with director Shawn Levy estimating between 70 to 500 takes. The revelation has ignited debates about child actors, parental responsibility, and Hollywood's limits, or lack thereof, when it comes to pushing boundaries for shock value. This version sharpens the focus on the ethical concerns while keeping the narrative punchy and engaging. Let me know if you'd like any tweaks.
He completely tries to embarrass and humiliate Blake Lively over and over again publicly while he praises other people. And it looks like the same thing that he does to his wife, he is doing down to his daughter. He seems to have a deep hatred for the women in his family other than his mother, who participated in the bullying tactics with that little skit that she did.
Fans react with shock and anger over Reynolds' controversial decision. Social media erupted with outrage after news broke about Ryan Reynolds involving his young daughter in the R-rated film. Fans expressed disbelief and disappointment, with many calling the decision inappropriate. One Twitter user wrote, *, Ryan Reynolds actually had his 7-year-old daughter record that line? This is seriously messed up. Asterisk another added. Asterisk, forcing a child to say something she clearly didn't want to isn't funny. It's wrong. Asterisk others called out the apparent hypocrisy, noting that Reynolds and Blake Lively have always fiercely protected their children's privacy. The couple has publicly criticized paparazzi for taking unauthorized photos of their kids, yet Reynolds willingly put his daughter in a position to deliver a crude joke in an adult film. To many, this contradiction was impossible to ignore. The backlash highlights growing concerns over child actors in Hollywood and whether parents, even celebrity ones, are putting their kids in uncomfortable situations for the sake of entertainment. This version keeps the original meaning while making the tone sharper and more engaging. It also adds context about broader concerns regarding child actors. Let me know if you'd like any refinements.
This is what they wanted her to say, and they forced her. He and Blake forced her, Shawn Levy, forced her to do this and to practice multiple versions of this. He says 70 to 500 times. What kind of time? What type of number is that? You made this girl practice different iterations of Wolverine having his male genitalia in her father's mouth, Deadpool. And she didn't want to do it because she's a little girl. And she shouldn't have done it. She shouldn't have been forced to do it. And I want you to hear what else they say. That when she didn't want to do it, well, I'm just going to find someone else to do it. And then, no, daddy, I'll do it. See, when a narcissist, when they're trying to manipulate you, and you can see the grooming starting young here in this situation. To me, I'm not an expert, but as a regular person who has had experience with narcissists, this is what they do.
Even some of the most dedicated Deadpool fans found it hard to defend Ryan Reynolds this time. Many pointed out that while Deadpool and Wolverine is an R-rated film aimed at adults, there was no valid reason for having a child voice such a crude line. One fan noted, asterisk, there were so many ways to make that joke work without a kid saying it. This was a conscious choice and a bad one. Asterisk, the incident has reignited broader concerns about how Hollywood handles child actors. The entertainment industry has long faced criticism for putting children in inappropriate roles or situations under the guise of acting. From casting young performers in overly mature parts to having them deliver lines they likely don't fully understand, the ethical boundaries are often blurred. Now, Ryan Reynolds, known for his fun-loving, family-friendly image, finds himself caught in the middle of that ongoing debate. Would you like this rewritten in a more formal or journalistic tone?
I did know that Ryan had cast his 7-year-old daughter, Inez, which is Taylor Swift's goddaughter, in the Deadpool movie. Okay, cute. She's 7. She's ready to be in a film. Maybe this wouldn't be the film of choice for me from a Christian household, but to each their own. And I did know that the daughter, the kid pool, has a potty mouth, which makes sense given the character of Deadpool. You're expecting the kid to have, I guess, a potty mouth, and that's supposed to be funny. I was aware that the kid said some highly inappropriate things, but I had assumed that the kid was in the costume and they likely used either a voice actor or an AI voice tool to say some of those things, because absolutely no person, I don't care how funny you think you are in Hollywood, would want their precious daughter, of all people, to make comments about Hugh Jackman's penis being in their father's mouth. Okay, I just assumed, like, this is not something that you have to investigate any further, because there is no father in his right mind who would want a scene in which his daughter makes a, I guess, homosexual joke about the relationship between him and this Wolverine character, who we're starting to have questions about their relationship in real life. Well, it turns out that I was wrong. I was very wrong on this. And also, he admits in one of these like post-Deadpool interviews that not only did he force her to say it, but that she was not comfortable with the line. And essentially, she wasn't going to do it. And then he was like, I'll just find a different actor. And that's what he says. So he kind of basically forced his daughter to do the line, or else he's going to replace her as an actress in this movie. She's 7 years.
Shawn Levy's casual mention of the multiple takes added another layer of concern. If Ince had to repeat the lines several times, It wasn't just a spontaneous moment. It was something the filmmakers deliberately worked to perfect. This raised questions about the decision-making on set. Did no one pause to ask if it was appropriate to have a child deliver such a line? Ryan Reynolds' response to the backlash only intensified the controversy. Rather than seriously addressing the criticism, he attempted to joke it off, saying he'd pay for it later when Inez grows up. But for many, this wasn't something to laugh about. Critics argued that his reaction reflected a larger pattern in Hollywood, where valid concerns about child actors are dismissed or trivialized, and serious issues are brushed aside as punchlines.
Got to spend a minute on Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, okay? I know the ruthless fellas have been all up in this business. And, I mean, no, but seriously, have you followed it at all?
A little bit. I mean, it's all over the tabloids, so you got to see it a little bit. I don't know if you're an
all
expert,
over the tabloids.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so for those of you, just a quick two-liner for those of you not following it. They started this movie, It Ends With Us, about domestic violence. It was his movie that he bought the rights for from the woman who wrote the book, Colleen Hoover. Then he managed to convince Blake Lively to star in it with him, and all hell broke loose. She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her. And he claims none of that is true. There was absolutely no harassment. Those are made up claims. She wrested his movie away from him and decided to try to hurt him with petty, made up, out of context complaints.
Meanwhile, Blake Lively has remained notably silent. Given her history of publicly advocating for the privacy and protection of her children, her lack of response has not gone unnoticed. Some speculate that she may not have been fully aware of the situation until the backlash began, while others believe she is intentionally staying quiet to avoid escalating the controversy. Either way, her silence has sparked questions about where she stands on the issue.
Seriously, if there are any lawyers in the house, let me know. Am I able to sue Sherry Panini and Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, because this is it's just disgusting. There's another thing. Did you know that Inez, the name of Ryan Reynolds' daughter, is the name of one of the characters? Deadpool, the character in the comics, has horizontal mambo with in the comics. And let's do the math. Like Deadpool, the original Deadpool, the movie was filmed 10 years ago. So Inez was born like 3 years after the movie was even began filming. So it's not like he was not aware of the Deadpool character. And you know that before the movie was greenlighted, they leaked with Tim Miller this little clip.
The controversy shows no signs of fading. Some fans are now urging the studio to remove the line from the film, arguing it was unnecessary and could have been handled in a more appropriate way. Others believe Ryan Reynolds owes the public, and more importantly, his daughter, a sincere explanation, not just a dismissive joke. The incident has also prompted a reevaluation of Reynolds' public persona. Known for his sharp wit and self-aware humor, he has long been celebrated as the actor who doesn't take himself too seriously. But now, some are questioning whether that humor has finally crossed a line, especially when it appears to come at the expense of his own child.
Here she is at the 2022 Forbes Power Women's Summit.
I would show up on a set. I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character. And sometimes I had directors or producers or writers who would welcome that and invite that once they saw that I was able to offer that. And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. So I think that for them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull because you're like, you're trying to assert yourself into.
At the heart of this controversy lies a deeper question. Where do we draw the line? Is it acceptable for a child to be part of an adult joke, especially if they don't fully grasp its meaning? Should a parent's approval override basic common sense? And when will Hollywood finally stop using children for shock value and start prioritizing their well-being? Ryan Reynolds had several opportunities to make a different choice. He could have cut the joke, used an adult voice actor, or simply respected his daughter's possible discomfort. Instead, he went ahead with it, and now he's facing the fallout. The bigger question now is whether he'll learn from this experience, or continue to treat it as just another punchline.